back to today's lecture. In the previous lecture, we were talking about the concept of OOP. Now, OOP is an abbreviation or short term of object-oriented programming. We learned what an object is and what is the property of an object. In this lecture, we are going to take a step further in the object concept and learn about it. Let us see what is going to be the agenda of this lecture. Since we are talking about the objects, we can add methods to an object, and we will be learning that with an example. We will see how we can access the method, and at last we will learn how we can add a method or a property inside an object. And you will be solving an assignment which we will give you at the end of this lecture. So what are we waiting for? Let us get started. As you know, object is a non-primitive data type which allows you to store multiple collections of data. And you know how we declare it. Now, let us learn what the methods of object are. Now, methods are nothing but objects containing functions. Let us see an example. Here it is on your screen. Here we have declared an object having two keys. First is the name and the other is greet. And the greet key has a function with a hello message. How to access the object method? Syntax for accessing the object method. Here it is on your screen. Object name dot method key. Here method key is the key of the function. Let us understand with an example. Here it is on your screen. So here we created an object method in the second key, which is greet. We displayed a message hello in the method. First, we accessed the name of the person object directly because it is an object property. And instead of accessing the greet method like person.greet, we have to access it like person.greet with brackets. JavaScript built-in methods. We have seen this method in type conversion. Here is an example on your screen. ParseInt allows us to convert a numeric string value type to an integer value, adding a method separately. You can add property and method into an object separately into an object. Let us see an example. Here it is on your screen. We have added a method in the object successfully. Initially, we created an empty object, then added a name property to it. Lastly, a method has been added into the object by us. We displayed the object method and it returned the hello message. So these are the few methods which you need to understand today. And here is a simple assignment for you. Add marks of science and maths in the following object. In today's lecture, we will be learning about how to display an object. Let us see what the agenda of this lecture is. So we will be seeing the ways to display objects on the console. The ways we can display an object are by displaying object properties using dot notation, displaying using loops, using object.keys and object.values, using Json.stringify. When we create an object, we need to display it on our screen. So how can we do that? Well, there are a few ways to do that. Displaying object properties. Here is an example on your screen. Since we have already learned this method, it will be easy for you to understand. Here we are accessing the properties of the object with a dot notation. We can access each property like this. We have accessed the name key in the object. Displaying with loop. Well, this is the easier way to access the properties of objects. There is a great advantage of using loops. You need not to be messy. Let us see an example, and here it is on your screen. Here we iterated through each value of the object with the help of the variable key. Key represents each item of the object, and we used a for in loop to do that, using object.keys and object.values. When you use this method on an object, it will return an array of either keys or values. It depends on which method you use, object.keys or object.values. Let us see an example, and here it is on your screen. As you can see in the output, using object.keys returns an array having all the keys from the object. We created a variable keys and stored all the keys from the object using object.keys. Let us see an example on your screen. Voila! And we got all the values. Here we created a variable called vals and stored all the values of the object using object.values and displayed it on the console, and we got the array of all the values. Using Json.stringify. Json.stringify converts an object to a JSON string. First, let us see what a JSON string format is. JSON is a string whose format very much resembles JavaScript object literal format. If I have to tell you in simpler words, then JSON string is an array of values or an object that is an associative array of name-value pairs. An array is surrounded by square brackets and contains a comma-separated list of values. An object is surrounded by curly brackets and contains a comma-separated list of name-value pairs. Let us see an example. Here it is on your screen. As you can see in the example, we have used Json.stringify to display the object. We have created a variable strfy and stored the values of the object using Json.stringify method. It returned the JSON string to us. So these are the few methods to display objects in JavaScript that you have learned today. In the next lecture, we are going to learn more about OOP concepts, so stay tuned. Bye.